Okay, we're back, and we're working on the mold for the Sasquatch, Ken Kelly collection. Right here I have the leg. I've already embedded it in clay. You can look at my earlier videos on YouTube to see how that's done. It's fairly simple. I started, as you can see here, keying the other side, and you only start keying when you have everything fairly smooth. As you can see, I've smoothed everything here. I've used a watercolor brush, which is essentially similar to an eraser, a pointy eraser. It's very soft, and I just got everything where I want it to be. I sprayed it with a little bit of alcohol. I'm going to spray a little bit more alcohol now, because I'm going to show you how to create the keys on this side so we can finish this off and get it ready to go. Basically, you can use anything for keys as long as it makes a depression in the clay, which is going to leave a positive side on the silicone from the first side to create the key. Here I'm going to use a drawer peg, the back of my watercolor brush, and the back of a standard paintbrush, so I have 3 different diameters for the keys. I'll just give a little spritz of alcohol, because alcohol I just put in a little spray bottle. Helps soften the clay. We'll start with the largest one first. Space them out fairly well. They don't have to be that deep either. As long as they're straight, that's the most important thing, is to press straight down into clay. You don't want any lopsided keys. You'll have a hard time lining them up. If you make any mistakes, it's easy just to fill it in and do it over again. This clay is very forgivable. I'll go with the next diameter up now on this, and just, go randomly around in larger areas. Last smaller one, which I like to keep tighter to the sculpt to create smaller keys a little closer to the sculpt. Not too close to the edge, you don't want it to tear. Just close enough to keep that silicone and that mold tight when you start casting. Okay, I think that's all we need as far as the keys go. The next thing we're going to talk about is putting in a pour spout and some air tracks. Since we'll be pouring, our pour area will be from the top part of the sculpt here where the key is created to lock it in. I like doing it from here because I want the resin to flow with the texture of the hair and to fill in the toes at the bottom. So I like using electrical caps for pour spouts. I get them in the hardware store. Just fill the back with some clay, and what I'm going to do is, it'll be in the center here. I'm going to add a little hot glue, which I have ready over here, onto the tip. There we go. So we need a little bit. Put it right here in the center. Press down into the clay. Press towards the sculpt. That'll be fine. And we also have some wooden bamboo skewers I got from the dollar store. I cut them to size, and I'm going to put them over here at the very edges. Also, for 2 reasons. One, it's good to have it at the edge. You need the air track so the air can escape as the resin flows in. You don't pour from the air tracks, you pour from the pour spout. There's also a little lip here, so you want to put it in the highest part, facing out. So I will put these in place if I want them, and press them into the clay a little bit. I will then add a little dab of glue onto the corners, and I'll just use some standard CA glue for that. I'll pour on over here on a piece of foam core board, and I'll apply it with another piece of the bamboo skewer. So a little bit goes a long way. that'll be fine. Let's put this off to the side. So now we have the piece entirely keyed up. We have what is going to be created as our pour spout and our air tracks to let the air vent out when we're pouring. And now what we need to do is add the walls, and I like to use standard cardboard. Lots of people use foam core, and that's their prerogative. Because we have the recycling program in our neighborhood, it's fairly easy to get cardboard, as your neighbors and everybody tosses their cardboard. So I just use cardboard. It's free, and you can't get better than that, and it does the job just as well. So I will pull out the shape that I have cut here for this. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to put it around, make sure it's the right way here. Let's see. Oh, my bad. This should be it. I'm going to leave a little bit left over to lip over the last wall. So what we're going to do now is we're going to run a hot glue gun around it and get it all tightened up, and then we're going to inspect it. It'll take a little time, as the hot glue will take a little time to cure, and I have to hold it together. So let's get started. I will start from this side, go in along the bottom, push it in as close to the clay and the sculpture as possible. Put some in the little door. You see it's very hot. Let it sit for a while. And once we get this side done, pretty much hold this in place for a minute or two until it sets, and then I'll work my way around the piece. After I'm happy with gluing up everything and I think it's secure, then I'll go in additionally with some duct tape to reinforce it, just to make doubly sure. It might be overkill, but better safe than sorry. I've had molds leak on me before without using the duct tape and missing a glue spot when you think you got it, and it's just a precautionary method that's worth doing in this situation. So we're going to basically wait. This seems to be getting a little tougher, and what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit more on the outside here using an industrial glue gun. This is one from Sears, Craftsman. You don't want to use any cheap glue guns when making molds. Those cheap little small glue guns with the small glue sticks, do not use them. I've tried it in the past, and I've had an unfortunate incident where the mold opened up and we had quite a mess. I had to start all over again from scratch, and it wasn't pretty. So get yourself a good glue gun. You're going to be putting it through its paces if you're going to be molding anyway. We have our little spider webs from the pouring the glue. Just pull those right off so they don't get onto the sculpture. And what we're going to do is work our way around and start turning this around so we can get the other sides. I'm just using a standard piece of wood. You can notice that it has some wear on it. This has been used several times for molding, and I just reuse them again. There's no reason to keep using new pieces of wood. It's not necessary. Okay. Now, let's get the glue all over here. Everything done with this one glue stick. It looks that way. This process is going to be repeated for all the other parts. I'm also going to show you after this how to do a one-part mold. Two-part block molds and one-part molds are the predominant ways to do molds for rapid prototyping for kit production. So I'm not going to go through every single part for this video. I'm just going to show you this one basically, which is a two-part, and then I'm going to show you a one-part after this, and then after that we'll the next time we'll come back, I'll have all the parts rolled up and ready to pour, and we'll work on pressurizing the silicone and pouring the molds for the next video. I mean, this is stuff I've covered in my earlier videos, but refresher. It appears that everything has been done well. See a little spot here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it a tiny bit more here, and I'm going to push it in a little closer to the clay. And we'll see if that'll dry a little closer. If not, what we'll have to do is apply a small amount of clay through the top, which I will show next. And that'll basically take care of any gaps that are there, so there's no silicone sliding behind the clay. It's a very easy fix. Clean clay is very workable, very easy to manipulate with tools and heat if need be. We'll apply some duct tape next after this to secure it for sure. Extra security, I should say. That looks good. Let's get our duct tape here. I will not be putting this mold in the pressure tank to pressure mold it. I'll just be vacuuming the rubber so it'll stay on the countertop here to cure. One part mold I will be putting in the pressure tank, although it's not usually necessary to pressurize your molds and vacuum them. It's kind of a redundant process. I vacuum my silicone anyway, so I am going to pressurize the smaller parts. I just feel safer with them under pressure. The silicone will get everywhere it needs to go. That'll be a strong mold either way, and ready to go into the tank when it's done, when it's time to pressure cast. For those of you that are watching my earlier videos, I am working on the Hulk. I have not forgotten about him. It was a sidetrack thing, but we will be working and doing another video on him as well. Like I said, that's a private commission. There was no time limit on it, so there was no rush at this point, but it is going to be done short in the next month or two. Now that's pretty much it for what we want to do on the outside. There is a couple of spots here, not much, just a couple of spots here. They're going to require a little bit of clay in the corners, and how I do that is very simple. Toothpicks I have here. I just roll a small little snake, or whatever shape that I think I'm going to need, and just put it right down into the areas that have gaps. Take a little bit more of your time. You might even go over a key or two. It is not a big deal. You can easily rekey it. I just jam it in into the corner, and it goes nice and easy with the watercolor brush. And that's it. I'll do a little bit more, but right now I want to cover the one part mold. Let's push this to the side. What we're going to be doing one part mold on this particular sculpture is the mouth dentures. I have a small piece of foam core here and the dentures for the mouth. Two small pieces. What I'm going to do is glue them onto the foam core here. I made a circle to keep them inside, so let's glue them in place. The reason I made the circle is because I'm going to be using a tube as the walls. A little dab of glue goes a long way. Right on there. Alright. Since they're so small, I'll be able to pull these directly out. This is a big enough area to pull them out of, so there'll be no cutting involved as far as this mold. The reason I made a circular shape is because I'm using a paper towel tube that I cut down with a scissor. You come across these if you're going to mold and cast. You know, keep your old paper towel tubes. If you get iced tea or lemonade, whatever, those cardboard containers, those are also good to keep because you never know in the event. Instead of doing a box or cutting, you just go right over it like this, put a little glue on the outside, and you're ready to go. So we're going to add a little hot glue onto the outside here, and our 1-part mold is essentially going to be ready for pouring. Very simple technique. Not ready for another glue stick yet, but close. So we're just going to make sure that everything is lined up inside the circle, which it is. There's enough space on all sides, and we're going to start gluing on the outside here. Shift a little bit because I put the teeth a little off center. That's fine, we have plenty of room to work with it. We'll get the rest of the glue out here. There we go. I think I see one small spot here. We're going to let this dry for a second, get off our little spider webs there, and then we'll put some duct tape on the outside of it. But you'll see it's just a very simple mold here. They're just glued in place right there, and that's it. Let's pour the silicone right in, make a 1-part mold. You got all the little spider webs coming out of here. Okay, a little bit of duct tape on the outside. Nothing fancy, just precautionary. And that's it. This is ready to be poured. So there you have it. A quick little guide to 2-part molds, 1-part molds, and that's going to be it for this video. We will continue later on when everything is boxed up and when it's ready to pour silicone. So until then, signing off.